Welcome back to Who Would Win. Today's Who Would Win comes to us from, if I got the name right, and I need to be very clear about this, the N-word Nazi. Whatever the N-word may be in this particular situation. But you asked the question, who would win a fight? The Martian Manhunter, John Jones, or Godzilla Earth? And at first I'm like, well, this is going to be a stomp. But the more I thought on it, the more I'm like, well, actually, there's a catch-22 in this scenario. So obviously the Martian Manhunter, I think as the comics went on, he was no longer the last Martian, at least Green Martian. I think they did ultimately bring in others. I know he wasn't the last Martian, there were the White Martians as well. But he was portrayed as the last Martian, John Jones, the Martian Manhunter. As such, he has the physiology of a Martian, which means he can basically kind of make his physiology however he wants it to be. He can make himself more or less a liquid, very flexible. He can make himself turn solid. He can basically change his density so he can phase through things or make him extremely difficult to hit. This makes him extremely difficult to put down because he literally can just be nothing more than a puddle of goo. And he can regenerate himself. You would have to actually incinerate his entire body down to nothing in order to theoretically kill him. Not to say it's not impossible. It's just extremely difficult. Compiled onto that is the fact that I do believe he has like heat vision of some kind, like a laser vision. But he's got physical strength comparable to someone like Superman. He can go toe-to-toe with someone like Superman when he needs to. Though straight out in like a physical fight, he technically isn't as strong as Superman. He can shapeshift. That's what his body's physiology really allows him to, is to shapeshift. And this enables him also to just avoid physical attack. Like if he were about to be damaged severely, he could just open up a hole in his body. But his most famed ability, and he can fly too, and at pretty high speeds. But his most famed ability is his telepathy. His telepathic capabilities are among the strongest on the planet Earth in DC, and among the strongest in the DC universe. This is a guy who can wipe the memories of an entire planet without too much difficulty. In theory, he can mind control someone with no thought or care to it. He is, think words here. He is capable of, disguising himself from someone's view just by, blocking out blocking himself out of their mind. We see in like the animated series where he traverses people's minds to save them from Dr. Sleep. His power is seriously not to be trifled with in terms of his telepathy and his mental abilities. The Martian Man. Now he does have a legitimate weakness to fire, and I know there's a few others. Unfortunately, my internet's out right now, so I can't really check like his profile. Anyone else who remembers a weakness of the Martian Manhunter, please let me know. But I know fire's definitely one. Now, obviously, he could be overpowered if need be. But that's where we stand with the Martian Manhunter. Godzilla Earth from the Planet of the Monsters animated movie series. There were 3 of them. One where Godzilla took over the Earth basically, which is why he's called Godzilla Earth. One where Mechagodzilla was still a thing, and then when Ghidorah showed up. Godzilla Earth is, because what's the best way to put this? Godzilla in Godzilla Planet of the Monsters, that animated movie series, is different than the Godzillas we've kind of come to know, because there's no real explanation of where this Godzilla came from. The theory is it's the same explanation as before, but unlike in some of the other ones, this one kind of earned the King of the Monsters title by best annihilating all the other kaiju. The only one who kind of could survive was Mothra, and it's implied she's still alive. But he just went around annihilating everyone until basically we had to flee the planet as a species. And over, I think it was like 1,000 some odd years or something like that, he and the planet became one. Basically, his body and the planet are kind of merged together. He is no longer like just an animal. He is like a plant-animal hybrid. And he's huge. He is the biggest version of Godzilla that exists at 990 some odd feet tall, nearly 1,000 feet tall / long. And this Godzilla is no joke in terms of power. He's probably like, if not the strongest, he's up there with like the strongest versions of the Big G we've ever had. He's literally just got the physicality right out the gate. Like this is the thing that could literally just plow through pretty much any man-made structure on the planet without hesitation and little difficulty. even the tallest man-made structures, I think, go maybe like into the 1,000-foot range, I think. But they're still not like that much taller than Godzilla. Uh, so yeah, I mean, his sheer mass alone is terrifying. But really, it's A, his sort of connection to the planet, which can allow him to heal, and B, his radioactive nature, and we see it in like the movie. His atomic breath literally is leveling like mountains in an instant. Like, this thing is literally a continent destroying super atomic blast that he's just carving through the entire landscape. And that's honestly on the weaker side of things, because as we saw in the third movie, when he eventually was able to send Ghidorah back through the wormholes he came through, he had to basically destroy those wormholes. And he destroyed singularities with his atomic breath. That is insane levels of power that most versions of Godzilla don't have. The closest ones you can make an argument for are the comic versions of Godzilla. If we're talking about on screen, maybe one of the Millennium series, particularly like the ones that went up against Kiro. Because technically speaking, no two versions of Godzilla are the same in the Millennium series, with the exception of the Godzilla we see in the Kiro series, like fighting series. They're all kind of separate. But you can assume that anything that one of those Godzillas can take, the other one can as well. So, that Godzilla tanked a black hole to the face. He took the absolute zero cannon, which is supposed to reduce you to absolute zero. And it did. He got injured from it, but he did it. He took a meteor to the face. That's something so anything any of the original Godzillas can pretty much do, we can assume this one can also do to a much higher degree. I have no doubt that this version of Godzilla could take a meteor to the face. I have no doubt that he might even be able to survive that black hole to the face, as he was able to destroy one. Technically, it was a wormhole, but whatever. I have actually a little reason to believe he could survive the absolute zero, or couldn't survive the absolute zero cannon. We should also assume that he has all the base abilities a standard Godzilla would. Apart from the atomic breath, he can probably I believe we even see him do the nuclear pulse. He may have natural. Whoa, that was a weird head jerk. He may have natural magnetic abilities like we see in the Showa era. There may be a version of this Godzilla that goes like thermonuclear, and we get burning Godzilla Earth, which would pretty much just destroy. They was said that version of Godzilla would destroy the Earth when he exploded. I believe, no doubt, this version of Godzilla would blow up the Earth. No doubt. But there's also one other catch among that, is that he also has this natural barrier around him, this atomic, like electromagnetic atomic barrier around him, which they had to defuse just so they could hit this Godzilla. And it turns out the version of Godzilla that they were hitting was just like this offshoot double of him, and then the real Godzilla came out of the Earth. So yeah, this Godzilla's no joke, but he's not invincible. Like, if Ghidorah had not been, let's call it solidified, if they had not been able to make Ghidorah physical in that world, Ghidorah would have beaten Godzilla, simply because Godzilla couldn't have hurt him, because he was intangible at that point. Godzilla can be beaten. Even this version of Godzilla can be beaten. They've said on multiple occasions there were scenarios where he would have lost. So who wins in the fight? Now, you might be thinking, well, the Martian Manhunter can easily just overwhelm his mind, all that, just beat the crap out of him, whatever. But this is where that catch-22 comes in. This is where that whole technicality comes in that I was talking about, where I don't know how well Martian Manhunter's mental, telepathy and mental abilities would work on Godzilla, because of that natural shielding. Because our whole neurology, neurons, our whole mental capacities are developed or have evolved around electricity. It's all electricity in our bodies that function. That's how neurons fire. That's how your mental faculties function. And you have to assume that, biologically speaking, there is like a mental connection between that and in superhero world, your telepathic abilities. Not to say that because you're a telepath you can command lightning, but no, it's still the same thing. You're just extending your mind out somewhere. But the problem with Godzilla is he has a natural defensive barrier that what might actually negate telepathic abilities, or at least hinder them to the point where they wouldn't affect him on any great level. Uh, we've seen it many times, like in just the Justice League cartoon alone, where Martian Manhunter has been overwhelmed by someone else's abilities, has been, completely negated. Like there's minds he can't read. He's not the most powerful in the universe. Don't get me wrong. He's powerful, but not that powerful. Um, and we know for a fact that things like electrical, like magnetic fields, can short out other people's technology, can make you feel weird too. Like I have literally gone to my radio before, my clock, my old as hell, my over 20-year-old clock radio, which I still have and still works. But I've gone to my radio before where it's on a channel, but it's kind of staticky, and I've gone to try to touch it, and I get close enough, and because of my own natural bioelectrical field, it actually adjusts the radio signal just a little bit, and makes it clear to hear. That's like rooted in biology. Now, granted, he's a Martian, but I think that principle still can apply here. So I think the fight would come down. Martian Manhunter maybe investigates. Maybe he's created like a pact with the people of the former Earth or humanity, and they ask him to go take care of Godzilla. He goes, tries to command the monster, it doesn't work. And, he tries to fly. He doesn't know why it's not working. He goes, tries to attack him, and he hits the barrier and just, and Godzilla just kind of like notices him and just like doesn't really pay him any mind. Godzilla's just minding its own business. At the moment, he wouldn't see Martian Manhunter as a threat. He doesn't see something that small as a threat. Martian Manhunter's like, okay, I can't get through this guy. All right, he tries to attack Godzilla again, firing lasers off at him. Godzilla's not taking notice of it, and he's just like, okay, fine. Just releases atomic pulse, blowing Martian Manhunter back. And this would go on for a while. Now, the issue for Godzilla here is the only thing he really has that could put the Martian Manhunter down, put him down for the count, would be his atomic breath. That is the only thing he has that could, in theory, actually kill him. Because, I mean, it's atomic fire, it's radiation, but it's still a pure beam of energy. And a condensed, powerful beam of energy that if it hit him for prolonged amount of time, Martian Manhunter would most likely be down for the count, if not dead. But the trick there is he's got to be able to hit him. Even with decent accuracy, all that, Martian Manhunter is a very small target who can turn intangible. So I think what's going to ultimately happen here is Martian Manhunter is going to be avoiding the attacks for a while. He ultimately has to try to charge and force himself through the barrier. Godzilla sees this, and basically as Martian Manhunter is getting through, trying to phase through the barrier, his ability to phase is probably faltering because of just how much damage he's taking. Because we've seen he's been able to be hurt while in an intangible form. I imagine that some sort of energy field would affect that. Godzilla then point blank goes for Martian Manhunter, who eventually gets through, and Martian Manhunter, unfortunately gets hit point blank by the blast. And you'll notice I did that for a reason. And basically is annihilated, and he falls just flat, and all that's left is an arm. And Godzilla's going on his way. Well, the arm grows back, because he can grow back from just about anything. He even grew back from a hand once, kind of like Deadpool, but on a natural basis where he always had this ability to do so. And he basically gets up, comes in and just mentally attacks Godzilla for all he can. The other catch-22 on this is that Godzilla is powered by the planet itself at this point. So Martian Manhunter is basically fighting against the planet's worth of power. Beyond that even, because again, Godzilla was able to destroy 3 singularities. But I do think he's able to at least put Godzilla to sleep. But I think Godzilla's a being where it's so powerful, big, and all that, where Martian Manhunter recognizes that I can't kill this thing. And I think even beyond that point, I think he realizes that Godzilla isn't necessarily a monster in the sense that, oh my god, he's evil and all that. No, he's just a being that was angered by humanity, and humanity, caused, did everything they did to the planet, and he was the planet's response to that. And I think it ends with him leaving Godzilla alone and basically explaining to him, Godzilla will not, basically saying, I could not kill him. I was like, well, how could you do this? I can do many things, but I will not kill ones who are innocent for their crimes. It's like, what do you mean? It's like, Godzilla did this, this, this. And he just kind of calls them all out for this. It's like, what happens when a virus attacks the body and starts to kill the body? The body fights back. Godzilla was the body fighting back, and he killed the virus. So, yeah, guess what? I ain't helping you. Sorry. I think it's one of those things where Martian Manhunter would win with a fair bit of difficulty. I think really what it comes down to is that damn... oh, this is not my mouse. No, this is my mouse. Yeah, this is my mouse. Why is my mouse not working? Oh, because I turned my mouse off. No, I didn't. Why is my mouse not working? Is my mouse dead? Let me see here. Oh, no. Is my mouse dead? No, mouse dead. No. Oh, there you are. What was that about? Huh. Weird. It's a new mouse too. I'm like, no, well, it'd just be the batteries are dead. It's not that the mouse is dead. So yeah. I think Godzilla would be a being, just the way that this version of Godzilla is kind of like composed. I think this version of Godzilla would be a being that the Martian Manhunter, in theory, might be able to kill, but I don't think would be able to. But I just don't think would be able to kill. He could beat him, but I think again that energy field is such a hacks a kind of defense against someone like Martian Manhunter. And again, this is all going off of my theorized nature of telepathy versus biology versus electricity. So I may be taking some liberties on a bit of my rationale here. But yeah, ultimately I feel that Martian Manhunter would win the fight with some difficulty. Like, I don't think this would be an easy fight for him. Now granted, this is all also just my opinion, obviously, and this is going off of the whole notion that I don't have access to all of Martian Manhunter's abilities at the moment because my internet will not come back right now, which is frustrating. Anyway, I digress, though. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. As always, if you want us to review something, put in the comments below. Let us know. We'll do a review of it at some point. Hit that bell if you want to be notified, and I'll see you folks later.